Hi, I'm Randy Chappell, the lead interpreter for Deaf Connect in Memphis, and this is part 3 of 4. Community interpreting, quite a variety of things that happens in the community. But the first part of this series was about physical aspects of how to do your community interpreting work. The second part was the mental aspects. This one is going to be the emotional. Part 4 will deal with social. That'll be coming up in the next, in the 4th of the 4 parts. So, I did some research on this subject, and I thought, well, I wonder if they already have something about emotional aspects. As I've always wondered before I do any workshop, I think, well, maybe if I research. I always think I know it all, so I thought, well, maybe I better just see if there's any research. There is some information about emotional aspects of the workplace, but this job is, as they all say, is different because we have so many different workplaces. Sometimes I don't know where the workplace is going to be until I get to work. Then I find out, oh, I'm going over there, then I'm going over there. And like today, they called and said, oh, you need to be in juvenile court. I said, when? They said, 15 minutes ago. Okay, so I could do that, you know. This is really the third part is about the human factor and what is involved in how to keep yourself sane. There's so many things that happen, and then too, when you add the pressures of work, well, you get the idea. Sometimes you get that appointment that you might think is going to be a happy time. It doesn't turn out to be so. It's one of those frustrating times that maybe you think you're going in for just a work meeting, updates, just different things that come up. But no, then you find out maybe it's a layoff announcement or a disciplinary action, even a firing. Not much fun, whole different emotions. You go in thinking, well, it's going to be routine, and it's hardly, and it's not. On the opposite end, perhaps you're going in and you're thinking, this is going to be a tough one. But then you find out, no, it's not. It's a ceremony. It's an award. They're giving away prizes. It's not a work meeting. Oh, well, that's a whole different situation, and boy, those are the fun ones. That's when you don't have to worry too much about what's being said so much, because you know it's going to be, oh, we love this person, oh, she's done so good, she did a good year, had a good month, whatever, you know. And then it's not so much what is being said, but that the emotion is being delivered. So that's the concept that you're trying to get across more than what might be the much more detailed of an actual work assignment, as you can well guess. But it does make it a lot easier to deal with. And you have to remember that sometimes those celebratory type of meetings, that sometimes if the deaf person has an interpreter, oh, that's probably because they're getting something. You ever notice that? You go to the award ceremony and nobody deaf gets anything. Do they call us? The deaf person probably didn't even go. But for some reason, they told them, no, you need to be there. You need to be there. You need to go. I'll get an interpreter for you. Okay. And then they show up and they're getting some award. It's like, how did we put that together? I always try to anticipate what's going to be said during meetings. That's just me, and that just comes from, I don't know how many years of experience. And you have the idea, if you kind of get the idea, you've been to it many times, and you kind of think, okay, they'll probably talk about this, and they'll probably talk about this. Why I say that is because I want to try to keep myself in check. I don't want to get too up or too down. I need to equate myself with who is involved in the conversation. So we know if we are ready for anything, That's just the best way to go. Always try the best to assume, but also assume that you really have no idea until it happens. Been to doctor appointments, you think it's going to be routine, find out somebody has cancer. Whoa. One good doctor told me, he says, come here, I need to tell him he's got cancer. I said, oh really? I said, oh. I go in and I'm standing there, he says, no, you sit down, I want to make sure you're okay too. I appreciated that, you know. Sometimes you never know. Sometimes you never know what might be coming up. Well, I just got off the phone with a friend who was telling me an experience about something that came up, and she thought that might be worth the tell in this forum. The one time she had to go to the WIC office. So she lets the local agency know, I need an interpreter. Okay, so they sent the mail, the experience, you know, sort of the me there. Except the WIC office was not for the milk and the signatures and the doctor's paperwork. No, it was the breastfeeding class. Well, that poor interpreter was so with the breastfeeding, you know, it wouldn't have bothered me any, but it certainly bothered him, and it bothered her. Because she's like, you know, I don't have any problem with this. This is the natural thing to do, but you are so icked out. God, you know, you need to leave. But they didn't have another way to change it, and they just went ahead with it. And the poor guy suffered with it. Said, you know, next time, not him. On the other side of things, though, you know, one of our darkest days, one of the worst days we've ever had with this agency here in Memphis was we had 2 children who were very, very, very sick. One had cancer real bad and was at St. Jude. His mother and father was the deaf ones. We had another girl, maybe 5 years old, at Lebanon, another children's hospital. Well, I went to St. Jude, and as soon as I came in, the doctor says, he's not going to make it. We're going to have to talk to the mom and dad and prepare them that this may be a decision they have to make. They may have to disengage the equipment. Like, oh, terrific. So, as I'm watching him take his last few breaths, and then I gather myself together after a few of these. Then I go to the phone and tell the office, I think I was telling my boss, I said, well, we lost him. He said, yeah, well, the girl at Lebanon just died 30 minutes ago. Boy, I hope none of you have a day like that, but we had one of those here, and then the people who was working here will never forget that day. Even if they was not involved, there's just that, you know, the family thing, you know. How do you prepare for that? I don't know. But you have to kind of expect anything can happen. Funerals. You know, I'm one of the first that'll say, yeah, I'll go do the funeral. And the reason I volunteer for funerals is not because I'm morbid. It's not because I just love to go to church and do songs, and not my thing. But I do it because I know what a funeral is supposed to be about, okay? And you do too. You know, in religious circles, a funeral is a way to force the living to recognize that death is coming. Not an easy subject, but it's something that we have to deal with. We interpret funerals, and we have to know that that's what our audience is going through. The ministers know that. They've had a chance to kind of talk with them, I'm sure. That's the normal thing, and you've all had to go through that somehow, somewhere. But when I'm doing a funeral, I try to remember that the words that are being said, the emotions that's being fed, the outpouring of feeling is going to the family. So when you interpret, I always stand up front and I face to the family. If there's a lot of deaf friends out there, great, love you, but I've got one deaf in the family, that's who's getting my attention. That's what you would prefer if it was yours. So that's what I do. Anyway. There was one experience I also wanted to throw out there where emotion needs to be very tempered. I mean, you have to watch what you're doing. Okay, here's the situation. Here in Memphis, if deaf gets selected for jury duty, they can go. A lot of people opt out, and that's okay. But if they want to get into it, that's fine. We provide the interpreter. Well, our juror got picked for a jury. Not only that, the jury actually heard the case, and now it's time for the jury room, the deliberation, the 12 people around the table. One of the most protected sanctions of the United States legal system that will ever be. And our deaf person is in that group. Well, there was myself and one other person, another, lots of experienced person. The judge called us over and says, Randy, y'all gonna have to be on your best behavior. Trust me, I understand. What you have to do is when the jury is deliberating, the comment may come up, well, this is just crazy. Why do we have to stay here? Let's just go ahead and vote. Well, in my mind, and I probably already heard the trial. I was probably there interpreting the whole thing, right? So I probably got my own opinion in my mind. But in that jury room, if I'm thinking that they say something that I think is stupid and I make that face, nope, that's my face. That's a 13th face. 13th not allowed, only 12. So if I made a face, it better be because someone else said something like, oh, that's stupid, and indicate that's who said it. I don't want the deaf person or one of the other 11 thinking that I had any input in that decision at all. One, it's not legal. Two, it's not right. That's their job. It's almost like being just until somebody says something. That's a very emotional aspect of community interpreting. What do you think about this one? Codas. I'm a coda. I've not had the experience a funeral of my parents yet. Thank God. But when it happens, am I going to be one of those codas that says, I'll do it, trust others? No. Maybe I don't say it, but it's probably in the back of my mind. I've got two sisters probably the same way. What I'm going to have to do is make them, no, not us, let somebody else outside of the family do that. Hey, my daughter Summer, I probably have to tell her, no, not you either. Codas, we tend to have this protective boundary with our parents or our kids or whoever it is that's deaf in the family. Well, as the coda who might be receiving services from an interpreter, and sometimes I am, let's say for a school meeting, let's back off from the funeral a little bit, but the same situation. I'm the coda, I'm the dad. Sheila's sitting there, the mom, we're in a school meeting. We have an interpreter there for her. I have to be careful not to rush things along. It's easy to go ahead and say, well, I know what she's thinking. I'll go ahead and just say it. And the interpreter's still, a couple of words behind. Not by any fault, that's just the way this business is. You interpreters know that. So I have to try to just temper my thoughts again and just go, okay, let them get caught up. Try not to go, let me do it. The emotional aspect of that, what? Frustration. On my part, not called for. Interpreter's problem, can't help it. They didn't tell me to get crazy. They was hoping I would be quiet and not pay attention. So, let's work it this way. If you do have a coda that's involved in something that you are the interpreter for, try to get with them a little bit early and go, look, I know that's your mom or that's your brother or that's your wife or whatever, but you be the husband or you be the mother or you be the sister. Let me do the interpreting, okay? Not that I don't want your help. I take your help if I run into something hard or something that, I don't know the names of all the family members. You do, I don't. Encourage the help, but also encourage what Archie Bunker said years ago, the stifling. Try to keep yourself in check. I have to do that. If I can, you can. At least I think I can. We'll find out. Many times we have that appointment come up. The agency calls up, hey, how you doing? I got an appointment on Tuesday at 2 o'clock. You want to take it? Yeah, maybe. I can probably do Tuesday. Okay. All right. It's a psychiatrist meeting. Okay, psychiatrist. Okay. Yeah, that's fine. Okay. East side of town? Okay. Who's the person? And then they name the name. No, I don't think I want to work with that person. No. 1, that person's crazy. 2, that person is more crazy than yesterday. You get the idea. Don't want to work with that person. But if you possibly can take the assignment, the appointment, you should. Why? It's a professional thing. Okay? You think the psychiatrist wants to see all those crazy people? They've learned how to. They also know, let's see, how to arrange things so that they keep control. That's what they do every day. Just every so often, we have the crazy person. Remember, in the Code of Professional Conduct, there is a statement there, I think it's number 4, respect your consumers, but number 5 is respect colleagues, interns, and students of the profession. Well, it's not just the profession, this one, but I would say anybody who is professional, all right? Allow that doctor to take control. If they lose some control, you know what they'll do? We'll just cancel, or they'll put them in the loony bin or something. You know what I'm saying? Let them take control. You say exactly what you see, sign exactly what you hear, and let them make that determination. Now maybe you don't know who's going to be the crazy person until you arrive. Good luck. But when you know it's going to be something like a psychiatric where anything can happen, remember that term? Anything can happen. Be ready for anything. Then just kind of roll with it. Follow through. There's probably going to be another appointment made. If you don't want to take the next appointment, tell the agency. Not next time. I don't think I can do it. Okay? It's all right. That goes back to step number 2. If you have the skills and the ability to do the job. If your ability is thinking, I can't, then don't. Okay. One thing interpreters have a hard time doing is saying this one word. And you know, many times oh, you need an interpreter for the psych. Okay, all right. Oh, need the funeral interpreter. Yeah, okay, I want to interpret for the child that's in the burn center. Okay, I'll do it. Why do we do that? That's not fun stuff. Is it because you have a hard time saying that word? No. What is the emotional impact of saying no? Why do we do that? And it's probably codas more than others. But still, codas are probably half of the interpreting force, okay? But never mind that. Interpreters as a group have a hard time saying no. Maybe it's because we don't want to be looked at as not able to do it. There's not many of us. I mean, I tell the lawyers downtown, I said, there's 1,000 of you lawyers, there's one of me. You know? Really, there's probably 3 of me now, but you get the idea. Maybe it's because we don't want to admit that we can't handle it. You know, like we're tough and all that. Maybe it's because of that communication. We know that that many that can do the communication. But there is a lot of appointments. Look, and again, I've said this in the first 2 parts. Now it's the third one. I'm going to say it again. We don't go to the store with deaf people to help buy ketchup. Everything we do, everything, is something important. Now, almost every deaf person that says, oh, I have an appointment, it's very important. We know. That's why you called for the interpreter. Where do we go? Doctor. Sounds important to me. Court. Don't want to go to jail, don't want to lose the money. School. Required. Truancy can put a parent in court. Work. There's that money thing again. Everything's important. We don't go to shop for the shirt. I need a blue shirt. We don't. That's not what we do. So to say the word no to something that's very difficult should be easier. I don't have the answer. I just bring up the dialogue for your food of thought. Maybe it's because in America we've been taught that we're supposed to be helping. We help other people, even if they to us. Whatever word you want to use for this. You know? New Orleans floods. Who came? Who? The French? Not picking on the French, but were they there? I don't know. I didn't hear about it. The Romanians? I don't think so. The Russians? No, I think it was all America. Something happens in Haiti. Who went? Maybe some other countries, but who was the big one? That spirit of doing what we can for other people is just kind of inherent in America. And that's great. But let's be a little smarter. Let's be smarter about it. Don't have brain damage because you can't say no. If you can say no and save yourself, do. If you need to get a team, do it. These are not easy things to do sometimes, as by examples of what I've already mentioned. And I need you to be able to interpret next week. Not be laying at lakeside going, okay? The agency might say, well, I don't have another person to do it. Change the appointment time until we have a second person. Whatever works. We teamwork on this. Let's work on it that way. Try to think about that. Oh, the setting. The setting. That's in the code. The word setting. What is that? The setting is the place that you're doing this. Whatever is this. Maybe it's the hospital. Somebody's home. A job. We talked about it in the physical aspects. But some places just give you the, ugh, it's not what I want to do. I don't want to be here. I don't want to go there. It's a bad part of town. If the interpreters who work for Deaf Connect do not know this already, I'll say this now, and hopefully you'll be watching this videotape later and you'll remember, oh yeah, if you feel like you're in trouble or not safe, get out. We'll discuss why later, but save yourself first. Then you just let me know what was happening, we'll fix it, or we won't do it. But do not work where it's not safe. Why should you be worried about your life? Just get out. And thank you. Just make something else I have to say no to. You ever, you're watching the sports game, maybe the football game, and maybe, this last weekend, it was the Jets and the Patriots. Okay, the Patriots, that team, God, they've been winning championships, like it or not. But the announcers are like, well, the Patriots, they're going to win, they'll probably win. But the Jets had a fine year, and what happens? The Patriots smashed the Jets. Why do I bring that up? Well, the Patriots is one of those teams, one of those groups of people that seems to get things accomplished. They're winning those championships. They're in the playoffs. They're competing. I mean, when the Colts won, they had to beat the Patriots to get there. And I'm not sitting here lauding the Patriots. I'm talking about the team with the experience. They've been there before. They know what emotions are involved when they get in that big game, that big appointment, as you might say. It's the time to make that decision. It's time to do. Now, please, when I go interpret, I'm not trying to throw a ball or tackle somebody, okay? What did I say just a while ago? If you're afraid, get out. If I have to tackle somebody, I probably shouldn't be there. But you get the idea. The Jets, they had 11 guys on each side. I mean, everything was fair. But the Patriots knew what they were doing. They kept their head together. The Jets worked themselves up into an emotional high. Come on. And then by the time they got out and got a few hits, they realized, oh, this may be more difficult than I thought. He's a little faster than me. He's a little more experienced. He knows to go a little further around than to come straight through, or whatever the deal was. That experience factor really does make a lot of difference. I know that kind of counterbalances the no word, but that does support what I was saying about if you can accept the appointment, you probably should. Because that experience will pay off in big dividends later. That one day that 2 kids died did not make me quit this work. I really think it made me better. Because anything can happen. It was a very emotional day, and I still have a hard time controlling my emotions with that. And I remember that was just before my youngest son was born, and at this time of taping, that was over 12 years ago. Take the appointment if you can. You'll learn a lot about your interpreting skill and about yourself. Then there's just everyday life. How many of us right now are worried about, I have money in my pocket? How much do I have? Whew, I have a 20. Okay. A lot of us don't even have a 20. Okay? That's pressure. Because the 20 will buy maybe, what, a half a tank of gas? But I have to go to work on the other side of town. That's going to eat up, 4 gallons. 2 gallons to go there, 2 gallons back. That's almost a half a tank in my little old car with bad tires. That's pressure. You're trying to go somewhere where somebody might be getting, who knows, Social Security. They're going to start up Social Security, and now they're going to draw $1,500 a month. What am I getting? 2 hours worth of interpreter pay? And if I'm not certified, that's maybe about a $20 bill. I understand that. What about the family pressure? Why are you going to interpret now? That's what you already worked all week. Now you're taking another appointment. Food on the table. I know this person, I need to go. I can't say no. Love affairs. I mean, you met that person, I want to stay with this person every day, every minute. Let's go eat. Oh, did you go eat? Okay, let me help you put on your socks. Oh, all this lovey-dovey stuff. Okay, but sometimes you're going to have to, I got to go take care of business. So you go, and what do? I miss you. I'll be right back. I miss you. I'll be home in a little bit. Yeah, we're almost finished. Almost finished. Tell them, I'll be right back. I'll be right back. That emotion, you lost